But today I thought it would be fun to look at 10 gross foods that only Irish people eat. Now, I am fully prepared to hear you if you live in another country and you eat these. Actually, I'd be super interested, so let me know below in comments. As far as I'm aware, these are very, very typically Irish things to eat, so yeah, it would be weird and wonderful if you did. Did you know less than 10% of people who watch this channel are subscribed and have their notifications on? I wonder what happens to the other 90%. I sure hope nothing mildly inconvenient. Okay, so the first gross thing that Irish people eat, and I'm sure you're going to find this a little odd, unless you're from the 1950s. If you're in a time machine and you're here from the 1950s, then you probably are familiar with this. People still do it in Ireland today, so I'm not sure if anybody anywhere else in the world does. It's the sugar sandwich. The Irish sugar sandwich is a staple of any mammy's Irish kitchen. You take 2 white pieces of bread, you butter them, I'll get back to that in a few minutes, and you put a big load of sugar inside. It is granulated sugar, yeah, crunchy, crunch, crunch, and then you stick them together, and usually you carve them in half, or sometimes in a diagonal, or a dianodrama, as we call them in my house, just my house. And you just, and maybe that's why sometimes when sand gets in my sandwich at the beach, I don't mind too much, because the texture reminds me of a sugar sandwich, but I think that's just a me thing, not an Irish thing. But yeah, most Irish people have tried a sugar sandwich at some point in their lives, usually made by your granny or your mammy. And speaking of granulated plain sugar, the next thing we do is we take plain cornflakes or plain Rice Krispies and we put them in a bowl and we put sugar on top. Yes, we could buy Frosties or Ricicles or whatever they're called in your country with sugar already on them, but it's not quite the same. We like to do it that way. And if you want to try something even more Irish, you can take the milk and heat it up beforehand. You can do it in a pot, you can do it in the microwave, whatever you like. Irish people occasionally like hot milk in their cereal along with sugar. Whenever I do the sugar thing in my cereal, it always makes me think of going to a B&B or a hotel where they only have plain cereal as opposed to the sugary cereal that I like, but I guess some people do it all the time. The next gross thing that only Irish people eat is yucky grey meat that's been sitting there all day, and we like to call it Carvery.
That sounds delicious.
Many's a time friends or former partners have said to me, let's go for a Carvery, because nearly all Irish people love a Carvery, but I do not. It actually turns my stomach. I'm the exception, like I'm the odd person, but other people really like Carvery, and what it is pre-cut meats and stuff that are just laid out in a delicatessen type thing, but they're heated, and then you go up and they slather them out to you, like turkeys and hams, and also, I don't know what the grey meat is, I guess it's a beef. Irish people adore Carvery. Except for me. The reason I don't like it is because it's been sitting there all day and yeah, I just don't like it. But I know I am the odd one in this instance because probably if you tried it, you'd find it lovely. You also get potatoes with it and different types of salad and stuff like that. A lot of restaurants and pubs pride themselves on their amazing Carvery that they serve. So yeah, it's a big deal here. The next thing that Irish people tend to eat, which is pretty gross when they're drunk, and isn't that when we usually eat the grossest stuff? It's a batter burger, or as it's known in Dublin, a batter burger. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a burger meat dipped in batter and then usually deep fried and then put inside a burger bun and then you eat it. It is not healthy for you. That's not the point though. It's all about, you know, the soakage.
I better soak up the alcohol with some food.
After a night on the town, you need soakage in order to avoid your inevitable hangover, and a batter burger will do that for you. Much like the deep fried Mars bar, we know it's not good for us, but we just can't help ourselves sometimes. Never in sobriety would I eat a batter burger, but give me a couple of pints, batter burger's looking pretty good. The next one follows on from a similar list we did before. You may have heard of black pudding, but have you heard of white pudding? It's served in a very similar way to black pudding with the exception of the fact that it doesn't contain blood. Oh, okay, that sounds much nicer. You say, no, it contains fat and other parts of the animal. Sway and fat, oatmeal, maybe some barley, breadcrumbs, pork, liver, guts, all served in a cellulose sausage casing that's white, hence why it's called white pudding. I have never tried black or white pudding, which makes me feel like a failure of an Irish person, because honestly, people really enjoy black and white pudding. My dad particularly likes white pudding, so I'm gonna guess it probably tastes a bit like some kind of bacon, but I'm not going to be trying it here on the channel unless it's for some major monetary gain, because it sounds disgusting, but it probably is really nice. Look, the next thing that Irish people eat that's, I guess, kind of gross on the surface, but probably out of everything on this list, it's probably the most accessible of all the things. It's barmbrack. Now, if you've heard me talk about Halloween in Ireland, you've probably heard me mention barmbrack. Barmbrack is a type of fruit cake with raisins and sultanas and this kind of bready texture that we put prizes inside of. It would never be allowed in America. They would not allow this type of thing because it is definitely a choking hazard. Yet, I don't think anybody in Ireland has ever choked on the prize on barmbrack. Hang on, let me Google that. One choked on barmbrack. No, it's not coming up. Nobody's choked on barmbrack. See, people know to be careful when they're eating it. There's a ring inside. Don't bite too hard.
Duh!
It's like a fortune telling game. Whatever you win is supposed to predict your fortune. You could get a pea or a stick or a ring. It foretells what's going to happen to you in the next year, and you traditionally eat it at Halloween. But I can understand why nobody anywhere else in the world thinks to eat it because of the potential death from eating things that are not supposed to be eaten. Something that you will do with barmbrack is drink it with a cup of tea, and sometimes you'll toast it with a bit of butter, which brings me on to my next one. It's butter on absolutely everything. Irish people adore butter. Now, until recently, I didn't realize putting butter on a sandwich was an exceptional thing to do. In America, apparently you guys don't do that. Irish people put butter on all sandwiches, unless you specify that you don't want butter, which is unusual. Maybe it's because our butter is so nice. Maybe that's why. But anyway, we will put butter on a lot of things that other countries would not put butter on. We'll put butter on our potatoes, we put butter on our biscuits. Yeah, rich tea biscuits and butter, that's one. Butter on vegetables, that's always nice too. We kind of use butter as a garnish in a lot of cases. It's just really nice, especially Irish butter, because our cows are fed the green grass, which makes the butter. Yum, yum, yum. This next one, I'm not too sure why it's on this list, because it's not gross. But, I don't know, I put it here, so I'm gonna read it out anyway, but I'm putting it here because I need 10 things.
Who's gonna watch a top 9 list?
Guinness served in a particular way. Oh, okay, no, here's what might be the gross part. Guinness in a can, that's really gross. We don't drink that. Guinness in a can goes in cake. Guinness in a pint glass goes in your belly. Mouth. Place. In America, when I've done my Irish pub videos, I have been so disappointed in how a lot of places have poured the Guinness. You need to tilt the glass and on the tap, do the tap thing to a certain amount, wait for it to settle, and then fill the glass some more. You don't just put it in the glass. It's not a pint of Budweiser. But Guinness in a can is for the foreigners, it's for the tourists, and it's for your mom's Christmas cake. It's not for eating, drinking. That's what you do with drinks. Coming in at number 2, I appreciate this one will sound gross when I describe it, but it's actually very delicious. It's a Mikado. Mikado is a very popular Irish biscuit. It's basically biscuit with 2 sides of marshmallow and jam in the middle, and then like sometimes coconut stuff sprinkled on top. Now you might compare it to a jam mallow, which is available in other countries around the world, but no, it is not the same. They do not taste the same. And when I say there's marshmallow on it, it's not marshmallow really. It's like a really processed type of marshmallow. There are other types of Mikado which look like cigarettes. I'm not talking about them. Our Mikado are these squishy things, and you will find them in every Irish child's lunchbox growing up. How people eat their Mikado says a lot about them. Some people like to take the mallow off, some people like to just eat it whole. It's the cream egg of Ireland. It just says a lot about your character, how you eat a Mikado. And the number 1 gross Irish thing that Irish people eat that you might find weird if you're not from Ireland is pig's feet, boiled. Gotta say, never tried a pig's foot myself, but I am informed that it is a staple of many Irish homes, particularly in the countryside. And I'm told it's actually very good for the stimulation of collagen to keep the skin young. So there you go. Go eat a pig's foot if you want to look young forever. They are served boiled in Ireland, usually with cabbage, and that's just what people enjoy in certain parts of Ireland. So good for them. I'm going to stick to roast chicken. Let me know what gross thing you eat in your part of the world below in comments. Over to Chewy now for a couple of shout outs.
Hi everybody, today I want to shout out the squad. They're a bunch of really cool people and also a bunch of really cool pets. Every single month we have a hangout and I can see them and they can see me and we can compare each other's falls and things. So thank you to all of them. You're really, really cool humans and dogs and cats.
And that's it for today's video. See you on the other side. Bye. And speaking of granulated white sugar, the next thing that we do is we take plain cornflakes. And speaking of granulated plain sugar, the next thing we do is we take. It is not healthy for you. Butter on vegetables, that's always nice too. Butter on vegetables, that's always nice. But it probably is really nice. And I'm told it is quite. And I'm told it is. I've literally forgotten what I was going to say. The next thing Irish people eat that's pretty gross, but I've not actually. The next thing that Irish people tend to eat, but I think I want a McDonald's after this, which is not very Irish at all. All served in a cellulose. And that's it for today's video. See you on the other side. Bye.